Welcome back, writers. Today is a magical one. As a story writer, unpicking stories is important, whether they be novels, poems, plays, or films. Looking at how they work and how they don't teaches you the elements you need to use in your own stories. Today, we're going to do that unpicking with a personal favorite. I'm way too excited. It's 1986 musical fantasy Labyrinth. Written by Terry Jones and directed by Jim Henson. It's about a 16-year-old girl called Sarah, played by Jennifer Connelly, who wishes her baby brother is taken away by the goblins in a book she's reading. Her wish is granted by the Goblin King, played by David Bowie, but she instantly regrets it. So the Goblin King, Jareth, tells her that if she wants her brother back, she must complete his labyrinth. Now, this film has its flaws, its good moments, its weirdness. But it's important when unpicking stories, don't just focus on The Godfather or The Handmaid's Tale, the best of the best. Every story has lessons for story writers. So let's get into it. In the story, Jareth gives Sarah 13 hours to save her brother. This focuses the problem, raises the stakes, and adds immediacy to Sarah's goal. I see so many stories without that sense of urgency, ambling on without a cutoff. You don't need to be as specific as setting a time, but the readers, the audience, need to feel that the protag's goal is urgent. In Hunger Games, the deaths and the nature of the event itself creates time pressure. In Toy Story, it's Andy's family moving away. Use time pressure to raise the stakes. The antagonist in your story needs goals. These goals directly oppose the wants of the protag, creating the main tension in the story. But these goals need to be more than simply oppose the protag, because it's these goals that colour your antagonist's behaviour. In Labyrinth, Jareth's goal is to keep the baby. It's not clear why, but that's his goal. Now that why doesn't need to be clear per se, but I don't think the audience knowing would harm the story. Jareth's goal leads him to want to stop Sarah. Stopping Sarah is needed for his goal rather than being the goal itself. So many writers fall into this mistake. And what it leads to is an antagonist that feels like a device, rather than a character with wants and layers. So remember to give your antagonist a goal, and opposing the protagonist's journey is a step in that goal. Side characters need to add value to the story. That value depends on the writer, but whatever value you decide, side characters need wants and desires, and those wants must be more than help the protagonist. Helping the protag, by all means, can be a result of the character's want, but not the sole purpose. In Labyrinth, Ludo, Sadidamus, and Hoggle are the main side characters. They all help Sarah for different reasons. Ludo because he wants friends, Sadidamus out of an honour to help Sarah, and Hoggle because Sarah treats him kindly, something he's not used to. Ludo and Sadidamus have plot value, helping Sarah continue her journey. Ludo also represents kindness, and Sadidamus represents bravery, characteristics that Sarah needs to learn on her journey. Hoggle has a more prominent role in the plot, and teaches Sarah forgiveness, mistakes are okay, and doing what's right. When you introduce side characters, be conscious of their wants. If you want, they'll feel like literary devices you've used for an effect. If this happens, readers will notice. Now in a story, the writer should never be visible. If side characters read like devices, guess what? The writer becomes seen. So give your side characters a purpose that manifests as helping the protagonist, or creating comic relief, or whatever desire you have for them. Protags can't be perfect, they need flaws. Usually though, flaws are the reason behind their problems. With Labyrinth, Sarah's selfishness leads to her wishing her brother away. Her flaw has consequences. There are also moments, especially early in her journey, her inability to wait and listen causes her problems. She comes across a worm, for example, at the start of her journey, and half listens to him before rushing off. But if she did listen to him, he'd have been able to lead her directly to the castle and her brother. Again, showing that her flaws have consequences that make her journey harder. This is a great lesson writers should use. Give your protagonist flaws to create layers, but also give them flaws to impact the story. The best writers do multiple things at once. Use flaws in that way too. Layer characters and impact the plot. The world and story need to feed each other. The story comes first, but the world colours it. Labyrinth is a film where the world and story blend together beautifully. Sarah's goal of getting her brother requires her to navigate the world. The Labyrinth is a living, breathing entity that causes Sarah problems, literally, adding to the challenge of her journey. It's not simply a pretty aesthetic. Remember what I said earlier about the best writers doing multiple things? Sometimes as writers, we can forget the world or indeed lean into it too much, smothering the story. Use the world to further the protag's journey. Don't forget, it's a tool. Stories deliver messages. They're the vessel that story writers use to respond to the world. Look at all your favorite stories from DDLJ to A Little Life. They all have messages and an overall message. Labyrinth's main message is around maturing and moving from childhood to adulthood. Sarah at the start of the story is refusing to face the future, still wanting to be a child. The journey through the labyrinth acts as a metaphor for the journey into adulthood. Her experience in the labyrinth leads to her maturing and learning to accept responsibility, whilst at the same time not completely forgetting her youth and innocence. The big celebration in her bedroom at the end of the film with her childhood is a great culmination of the message. It's a great reminder for writers to remember their why behind their stories and not to lose sight of what they want to say. Don't suffocate the story in messages. Use them to guide the direction of the plot. Though it has its problems, there's much to learn from Labyrinth. We've not even discussed the incredible songs. Give it a watch with your writer hat on and you'll learn a lot. On that note, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.